Hi, this is Dr. Neda Gioia here at Integrative Vision. I am here to present a webinar regarding blue light and carotenoids. My practice in Shrewsbury, New Jersey is focused on holistic eye care and how we can really implement nutrition with our ocular conditions that can affect our vision. So let's get started. Again, I'm an optometrist with a fellowship in the Ocular Wellness and Nutrition Society, and I'm currently undergoing a CNS course load for Certified Nutrition Specialty. So let's start with what is blue light. So blue light is a wavelength, part of the electromagnetic spectrum, where it's a subcolor of the visible light spectrum, and it ranges about 400 to 495 nanometers of the light spectrum. What it does, it actually activates something called retinal ganglion cells that are very sensitive to this light, and they contain something called melanopsin. This stimulation actually reduces the amount of melatonin that is then released by the pineal gland. So there's a direct connection with blue light and melatonin production. So let's get a little bit more involved. What is melatonin? So we actually make melatonin naturally. It's a hormone that's produced in the pineal gland, and it regulates our sleep and wake cycle. The precursor to melatonin is serotonin. So we also want to make sure we have serotonin as our precursor. We produce the melatonin after sunset, and it usually peaks at night. The darkness is actually the trigger for the body to produce the melatonin. And light, especially blue light, decreases that production. And it signals the body to be awake, just like the sun makes you feel awake. And that's because it is blue light. The highest amount of blue light is in the sun. So some people that have trouble sleeping actually may even have low levels of melatonin to begin with. And when you add on blue exposure, this can exacerbate the problem. So next, we can talk about carotenoids. Now, carotenoids are organic pigments that are found in nature. There's over 600 to 700 of them identified, but there's two specific ones that really supplement and help the macular region of the eye, which is our central vision. And this is called lutein and zeaxanthin. And again, they're only found in that central part of our vision called the macula. Only a few foods really have a very high concentration of lutein and zeaxanthin. The average American, though, only ingests about 1 to 2 milligrams of this powerful carotenoid. And unfortunately, this is not enough for our daily intake. Foods that have high amounts of lutein and zeaxanthin include dark leafy greens, especially spinaches, kales, anything that's deep in color. There's also collard greens on that list. Yellow egg yolks, that's lutein. There's a fundamental high percentage of lutein and zeaxanthin in many of these nicely rich colored foods, even yellow, red, orange bell peppers have a high percentage. And they're actually fairly fat soluble. So you want to really ingest them with some sort of fatty food. even if that's a simple avocado oil or any type of nuts that you might incorporate in your diet. And that helps with absorption. This lutein and zeaxanthin really neutralizes all the free radicals that we have bombarding the eye in the macular region. And that's why we call it our natural sunglass, because it helps really protect the most important part of our vision, which is called the macula. So how else can we protect against blue light? We can actually also invest in spectacles that reduce the percentage of blue light that gets through the eye. One thing to note is that you do want to know what percentage of reduction that eyeglass does and around where in the spectrum of blue light does it block. So those are very important questions to ask wherever you do purchase your blue light glasses. There are also blue blockers, which tend to be yellowish, brownish in the tint, and those can go upwards of almost 100%. There should be caution with those for daytime use, and the reason is to balance out our melatonin cycle, we actually want normal blue light in the daytime, especially natural blue light, which is emitted from the sun, to help cycle our melatonin. So we want the melatonin really low in the daytime, and we want to have that natural sun exposure. So if you wear a full blue blocker in the middle of the day, that might not be the best choice. Definitely for the end of the day versus the beginning peak of the day. So there's also diagnostic testing that we can do to see what levels of lutein and zeaxanthin we have in our bodies. These tests can be done typically through serum, blood test, and there's also newer tests that can be done through the palm of the hand, which we have here at the office. There's also retinal scanners where the macula, which is that area where our central vision is concentrated, the amount of pigment can be also measured in that one spot right with this machine. It's non-invasive. So that can really give us a general sense of if the patient is getting enough lutein and zeaxanthin in their daily intakes. It also serves as a potential tracking, where if you start supplements or change your dietary habits, that first scan can serve as a baseline and you can compare against it and see if the patient is actually getting more into the system. And if that patient is not, then I usually do recommend some sort of digestive consultation to see if there's absorption issues. Going forward with more blue light emission off of our day-to-day electronics, I also want to talk about some of the tips that I have created for you. The first thing is to stop non-essential notifications on your electronics. That helps reduce that knee-jerk engagement that you want to have every time your phone or electronic pings. You want to create a phone and electronic free area in your home, and you want to really abide by that because you want to be able to have a area where there is no or reduced light emission and where you can feel relaxed. Next, you want to start implementing the 20-20-20 rule for eye fatigue. So while you're looking at computers and electronics, after about 20 minutes of engagement, you really want to unlock your vision for 20 seconds, 20 feet away. So look at something past your window, far point in your room, and during that 20-second relaxation, you should blink quite a few times. The brightness of all your electronics can also be adjusted using an Flux app, which is on most electronics available through the website. And also, you want to adjust the brightness in your room to not be so dark where the computer screen or the digital device is actually glowing too bright. There's also adjustments that you can do right on the digital device. In terms of really engaging at a higher level, you want to almost completely avoid any blue light electronics about 2 hours prior to bedtime. This really helps enhance the melatonin production and reduces that stimulation of the retinal ganglion cells to reduce the amount of melatonin that is secreted by the pineal gland. Lastly, going back to our engagement, you really want to constantly be intaking lutein and zeaxanthin foods. As I said, the American diet really has a minimal amount that we're getting, and we want to really hit the ratios of at least 10 milligrams to 2 milligrams of zeaxanthin, 10 on lutein and zeaxanthin 2 on a daily basis. And this really helps with incorporating some natural things that we can do to fight off the free radicals. And as the blue light investigation and studies come out in the next years to come, a lot of research is being done. And we would want to be on the forefront of that, where we can really already know that our daily habits can help mitigate a lot of the issues that we can be getting with blue light exposure. And over the next years to come, as the research gets more diverse and solidified, we can feel that we're taking the proactive approach before we get all of that information from these studies. So, all in all, I would like to close out with some of my information. So if you'd like more information about anything that we discussed today, or want to investigate a routine eye exam where we get baselines of how the ocular system health and vision is, you could always reach us at integrativevision.com. Our email is info@integrativevision.com, and social media at Integrative Vision. So thank you for watching this webinar regarding some of the points that we can do to help mitigate blue light exposure in this new digital environment that we have.